Hey guys, thank you for stopping by the Poop Dollar Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Allegria. In this week's episode, we have Matt Taylor. He's a hilarious stand-up comedian, an old buddy of mine. We've known each other for about 11 years, and we talk about old comedy shows and where we first met. We talk about what it's like to do Zoom shows during the pandemic. He talks about what it's like to date another comedian, and a whole lot more. We have a great time in studio, catching up on old times, having some drinks. I think you're going to enjoy it. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Listen to it on Spotify, iTunes, and now Audible. That's it for me. We'll talk to you soon.
I feel like you're always a little bit ahead of me. Have you noticed that? Like,
I'm older than you.
That must. I'm only 21. First of all, no, but it's like. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing this. You're doing it already successfully. When I first came out here, you were doing shows. Yeah. You helped me out so much. And so it's like I've always been like a little bit behind you. And I'm like, so I got to watch your career to see where my career gets to go. Like, all right.
You know what, man? I've seen you kick butt ever since you got to LA. You know, I met you like not long after you got into LA.
Yeah.
And I saw, you were always a hustler, dude, And I don't know if you had like the New York hustle or you just had it in you and that's who you are, but I always appreciated it. Now I like to surround myself with people like that, and you were always that sort of person. So I never considered it like some sort of a competition, but
thank God, because you'd be winning. So it's not a competition at all, man.
No.
You were like you and Sandy Danta, but really you did the most. Like when I first came out here, dude, no one cared. I'd been doing comedy for forever in New York, and no one cared. And then it was just you guys helped me for no reason. It was really.
Well, you're a great guy. You're hilarious. You know what I mean? You're a hustler.
But back then you helped me out before you even really knew me that well. Like I've never forgot that. So yeah.
I don't know. I think you give people a shot, and it's the people that do you wrong, they fall off, and it was like, well, it was good to meet you and so long, and now I know who you are. But you've maintained that great person ever since I met you until now. And it's been 13 years maybe?
I've been out here 11 years.
Wow.
I think 11.
Okay.
I hope, maybe I forgot, but yeah.
Yeah.
I've been out here longer than New York. I always think of everything in terms of my time in New York.
Uh-huh.
Like that was like where I started.
Yeah.
And now I've been out here longer and I like it. I like here better.
Yeah.
I always see people coming to New York. Oh, I'm going to go to New York to do comedy. It's like, you shouldn't do that. Like it's just so, there's more stage time.
Yeah.
But like, it's the same 20 dudes, the same guys, because you can make a living in New York at the clubs.
Okay.
So they stay.
Yeah, right.
Like I look at the lineup still, and they're the same as when I left.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow.
So.
Well, they got a steady paycheck, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would. That's what I would do also. I mean, who wouldn't just do the Cellar, the Caroline, Cellar, the comic strip, Cellar again? It's like.
Yeah.
But there's just there was no room to move forward.
Oh, okay.
Like, I left New York. I remember nothing was going on. Like I was lucky. Like I flamed out in comedy. Like I was doing these shows, and then I had my own club for a little bit, and this guy stole my street team, and it was a big kaboom. It was the best thing that ever happened to me because I left New York early, and because of that, I came out here early, and no one cares. Like it doesn't matter what level of success you have in New York. You start over when you come to LA.
Yeah.
So luckily, I got to start over early, and I made so many mistakes when I was in New York, and I remember thinking to myself, I'll never forget this. My brother was out here. He let me stay with him for like 8 months for free. Like it was
awesome.
Yeah. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror going, all right, man, be everything you weren't in New York. You've got to do everything differently. Because in New York, I was very much, I was an asshole. Like I was selfish. I tried to do everything to benefit me. I just was a selfish person.
Yeah.
And because of that, when things fell apart, all the people who were nice to me stopped being nice to me because they, you hear that thing about like, when I had things, people were there.
Yeah.
Well, that happened to me. And it was interesting because I didn't know at the time. And then when I lost everything, they're like, oh, you guys were my fair weather friends. Like, oh, I would have asked you for more things or something. I didn't know. I thought you guys were.
Yeah.
But I got to start over here. And I learned, the biggest lesson I learned was just whatever you can do. Like just, if someone says, hey, are you available? Be available. And the only weird thing was that it doesn't seem to be the common ethic out here. Like I could be wrong, but it was my experience that most people value success as how little they need to do to get the things that they get. Like comics, if you ask them in New York, hey, like, we're going to put a show together. Let's all get together. We'll hand out some flyers. We'll do it. Be like, yeah, let's do it. They take pride in that. Out here, could you imagine asking the top guys, hey, you want to go help out at a show? Like they would look at you like you're insane. It's like the level of success is how little do I need to do to get what I'm getting? Now, it doesn't mean that those people aren't working hard.
Yeah.
It just means in terms of comedy, I've noticed the more that someone is successful, the less you have got to expect of them. Which, by the way, now that I've been out here long enough, makes sense.
Yeah.
It really does. So I'm hoping to hit that point of just like, I do nothing whatsoever and people give me stage time. Someday.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. That is a good position to have, right?
Oh yeah.
I've earned, my position to do nothing.
Dude, I want that so much. You know what's interesting is like, I've been running shows. Oh my gosh. You know what I should tell you about? I'm having to rebrand myself.
Okay.
And this is something ridiculous. Okay. I'm going to say this tactfully. I feel like an idiot having to say this. So I'm embarrassed.
Just say it, please.
I know. So when I was a new comic, no one wanted to work with me because I was no good. Makes sense. So I would hand out flyers. I would hand out things. And then some people would work with me.
Yeah.
But then I got lectured. They're like, you got to stop handing out flyers. No one will look at you as a comic. And so then I was like, all right, I'm going to try to be seen as a comic. So I stopped handing out flyers, which I guess like bringing would be the same thing out here. Like you're a new person, then you got to stop being new and you got to go to the open mics and you kind of graduate. Well, then I stopped handing out flyers and no one worked with me. Like zero.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I was done in comedy. So I was like, well, that's not working. I better do something. And I was living in Astoria, Queens. And so I saw this little cafe in the middle of nowhere. And I went and they had an open mic on Wednesdays. And so I went up to them and said, hey, could I run a comedy show? And they're like, do you run comedy shows? I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. They're like, well, we got a Tuesday available. I was like, good, I'll take it. It'll be great. And then I panicked because I didn't know anybody and, what I'm going to do. But I hustled, and I chalked on sidewalks, but I got people in.
Yeah.
And I realized, if I just run the thing myself, I get all the stage time I want.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then I was like, and also now I can get the people who I like to work with me.
Yeah.
Because I also had no sense of, I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think anyone would ever go to a show to see me. And so I would dress it up as like, well, I'm still getting better. So I want to work with the best comics and that'll be, but secretly I was like, maybe then the best comics will like me. They'll be good. But I was able to produce. I was really good at it. I still am good at it.
Yeah, you are.
And because of that, I would get all this work, but no one saw me as a comic. They saw me as a producer or a promoter, which is even worse. Yeah. And so then I came out to LA and my same skill set had helped me. I was able to, fill up rooms, do things like that. Mm-hmm. Now I'm 18 years into comedy, 18 years in. And the pandemic, the one good thing about it was it made me do nothing. Like I have my mother lives in Santa Monica and she has pulmonary issues. So I wanted to see her. So I stayed in. Like I was like that person. And because I was doing nothing, I was like, what do I really want? And I realized I want to just be a comic. Like I've been doing comedy, but everyone thinks of me as this producer, this promoter. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I always thought at some point I would feel ready. Like somehow I would, like a butterfly, I would spring out and everyone, but it's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. I just have to do it. Yeah. So I started doing these shows at the Comedy Chateau, and the first show I did, I sold out. Wow. Now, and I also used my face, my name. Like it was like I was the draw. I have a pretty decent following now from doing all these shows. So they came out, and the first thing someone said was like, wow, you really know how to promote a show. You're a great promoter. And I was just like, oh, I'm still not seen as a comic yet. And so what I've been doing, and this is crazy, but I've had to do it. I stopped producing completely. I've been asked to do, hey, could you help me with this? No, I've stopped. And I'm going comic to comic like, hey, I'm a comic now. Like, this sounds ridiculous, but if you talk about me, like, say that asshole's a comic. Yeah. Not a producer. And everyone's been good about it. Everyone's like, cool, about time, Matt. Like, I feel like I was missing something, but now I'm actively having to do it. And it's working. That's the crazy part. Like, people are starting to look at me that way. And nothing about what I have done has changed except that I'm telling people, hey, I'm a comic now instead of a promoter. And it's been such a life, like a lesson. Like we are to everyone else who we choose to let them, however you allow someone to treat you, they'll treat you. Yeah. And for some reason I was like, I'm a promoter and a producer. And so people looked at me as a promoter and a producer. Yeah. And it wasn't until I just decided to go, all right, it's going to sound stupid, but I'm a comic now. Yeah. And now people are looking at me that way. So it's like, it took me 18 years to get to that point, which is ridiculous. Yeah. But it's been such a thing, such an incredible,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still such an odd thing to me. Like I was telling my girlfriend, like I feel so self-conscious.
Yeah.
Telling people this because like these are people I've known for forever. You know, it's like I'm a comic now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's even weirder. It's like no one's zinged me on it. Like no one's been like or whatever. But then it's also like now I'm like maybe I should have been saying this earlier. Like wow, like, everyone's very much too supportive. Like I was like, Ben Morrison was like, yeah, it's about time, man. It's about time. Yeah, welcome to comedy. And I'm like, this is the wrong response. Like I don't know. Well, so that's my big life thing, and so I've been doing that. But it's such a weird thing because all the things I feel comfortable in with comedy, I can't do anymore, or at least for now. Like I don't know how to interact with club owners anymore because when they would talk to me about numbers and they would talk to me about audiences and these things. And I now realize that's not how you talk to a comic. You talk to a comic differently, but I'm trying to make sure I don't fall into the same patterns.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I feel brand new. Like it's weird. Like, it gets us good, but it's like, it's scary. Like how do you guys do it? Like I'm literally asking comics this question. So what do we do next? And they're looking at me like, how long have you been doing this? Like, it's not important. Like, what do we do next? Like, I know you do shows. Sure. I can get those, but what's after that? And everyone's kind of cagey. So I guess that's part of it. Not telling anyone what's next, but like, I really don't know what the next step is. It's just weird. Like, I think, actually, I don't know. What do you recommend?
Just, just fake it till you make it.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. Like everyone's like, I don't really know either. It's like, I'm guessing the next thing is I need to have a great idea.
Yeah.
Just some kind of brilliant thing. And then I just learned for the first time something I probably should have known. Most comedians' first special, they make. Mm-hmm. And then they sell it. Yeah. I was shocked. Yeah. I heard Tom Segura, his first special on Netflix, he made. Wow. And then Netflix made the other ones. Wow. I thought that. Yeah. I mean, I had heard of people making their own specials. Yeah. I just thought that was just something you did when no one would book you. Like, I got my own special. And you're like, oh yeah. But it turns out that's a thing.
You know what? Like, I don't think that there's a blueprint, especially in the days that we're living right now, Matt. Things are just like upside down.
People say that
crazy.
Unless there is, and they don't want you to know it. They're like, there's no blueprint. There's nothing you're supposed to do.
Well, I'm just saying, just because like it's everybody's stories, anyone that I look up to or, big success, they have a complete different story from one to another, Look at Chris Rock, all of a sudden, Eddie Murphy picked them up, you know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, that'd be a crazy way to make it. How do you have to make it? Well, Eddie Murphy's got the discovery. It's like, really? Eddie Murphy has to? He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. But like, I get you're right. Like I know certain things have changed. Like in the old days, it was the Tonight Show. Yeah. At least this is before I was even around. Right. It was like because you would get into the clubs because the clubs would be how you got that showcase. Right. If you showcase for the Tonight Show, you got the Tonight Show. If Johnny liked you, maybe you got a pilot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then it seems like that's definitely gone. That's definitely now it's because I know the older comics struggle with the idea of having to make their own content. And have to do it, but it seems like now it's like there are no gatekeepers, or if they are, there's so many gates that people reward people who have visible work. Like if you have a following, that's a visible thing, or if you've made a lot of videos, that's something. Yeah. So it seems like I'm in this weird mindset in between of like, I want to get discovered, but I know that's not going to happen, but I'm too lazy to make anything on my own. So I'm just like, I'll just watch comedy. Maybe that'll be it. Yeah. So what do you think?
It's tough, dude. Honestly, I think that you should have had this mindset when you first got to LA and rocked that. And then at this time you would have flipped and you know what? I'm going to produce shit and I'm going to fill rooms and I'm going to make money.
It does seem like it does. Every person keeps talking about the things that I was doing. Like you gotta like make a special, and just like everyone's like, I would if I could just fill a room. Like I can do that. That's easy. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm beginning to think I'm like a little bit behind. But maybe I should go back to just maybe the producing idea. But I think my brother always says that everyone prays to a specific God. Yeah. Like there's the God of money, there's the God of sex, there's the God of public approval, and then there's the God of peer approval. And like I clearly pray to the God of peer approval, and like I don't. It's like I wish I didn't. Yeah. Because like I know I should just put my head down and just do. Yeah. But I don't know. There's something about doing it on your own that feels lonely to me, and I may not just lonely, but also difficult. Like I've been trying to do it myself for so long, and I've hit the point now where like I can't. Mm-hmm. Like I literally the things that the options I have available, I just can't do them by myself, and I am struggling to find a way to put a team together because I don't work great with other people I don't know very, very well. I feel very I don't like to share information. And so that's a problem because it's like, I've noticed that you need to be able to get people on board by sharing your plans.
Yeah.
But then by sharing your plans, I don't know, people seem to fall off or suddenly they have their own plan that's kind of similar to your plan. Like it's happened to me several times where I was working with people and then they suddenly were doing what I was doing with the people I was working with.
Inspired them.
Yeah, that's a great way. I inspired you to do what I do exactly with the people I was working with. Cool. I'm happy to be such an inspiration.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I'm curious as to what's next. Like it's the pandemic really did change a lot. I've noticed for that last year, a win was just being alive. To me, it was like, all right, are you sick? No, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Like just be safe.
Yeah.
And then now I'm vaccinated. Did you get vaccinated?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's good. Good. Some people, that's like a dirty word. I'm still shocked by that. Like, I still don't know how we allowed the vaccination to become a political thing.
Yeah.
Like there was a pandemic 100 years ago.
Yeah.
That Spanish flu. You know what they did back then?
What?
They made everyone get vaccinated.
Oh.
Like there was a law. You couldn't have an opinion about it. In fact, they had this thing called the Sedition Act, which meant you could not complain about it. Because if you did, you could be put in jail.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But then Oliver Wendell Holmes, who's a Supreme Court justice, kind of made free speech as we know it today kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But back before the 1920s, before the 1920s, you couldn't say things about the country and you couldn't say things about things like vaccination and public health, or you would go to jail.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I like to listen to some education podcasts.
No, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I was like, man, you could send people to jail for disagreeing with you? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome. I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that.
Yeah. So maybe, because we think we're so free, that's become the reason why we're all so high and mighty, and we're like, well, vaccine, a mask, why we don't need to do, that's no free country. How did we
I
get
still
to this
don't
point?
figure that out. Like every time someone doesn't like to do a vaccine, which is weird because it's like you won't know who they are until suddenly you mention something, and then suddenly their eyes like get dark and they're like, vaccine, let me go tell you about the government, let me tell you what the chemicals in it, and do you know this and that? I'm like, whoa. Let's go talk about this.
Yeah.
Because it's like no one knows what's in a vaccine. But yet people it's like, do you know what's in your shampoo? Your shampoo's got a whole bunch of chemicals in it. Do you know, or do you know what's in your, and also half these people are drug users, which I'm always shocked. Like, you don't want to do a vaccine, but you have no other problem with anything else, huh?
Yeah. Right.
But it also is like, I think it's like the wrong response. I don't know if this is, maybe it's because I'm such a lefty, but like, shouldn't the response be like, maybe we're killing people? Let's just wear a mask. Like, what's the harm? What is the harm? Like, I don't get that. I like wearing them. Honestly, I'm going to miss masks.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say this on stage, but like I am, because like I have bad breath sometimes. Not with a mask, I don't. With the mask, I don't have to worry about that. I mean, I still brush my teeth and floss and do all that, but every once in a while, I know I have bad breath. That's it. Or other people have bad breath too.
Sure.
I want masks.
Yeah.
Like, women have complexion issues. You think every woman would be like, I'm cool with a mask today. Because like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, I don't want to go out. I just don't feel like I look right. It's like a mask.
Yeah.
Also, when I was a kid, this is going to sound stupid, but I used to play Ninja. And I was pumping gas not terribly too long ago. I was wearing a hoodie. I had a mask on, and I felt like an off-duty ninja. Like I was looking in the mirror in my car, and I was like, yeah, I'm a ninja now. It's like my childhood dreams have been realized. I'm a ninja pumping gas.
Yeah.
You can't do that without a mask. Or the other thing I always think of, like all those people who don't like masks, like you would think when they went over and they attacked the Capitol building, that's the time to wear a mask. Like that would have been a perfect time to help me wear a mask. All those people who did it, they did it maskless.
Yeah.
Which I just find like, it's kind of dumb, people. You probably should have worn a mask. But
yeah.
I don't know, like, have you noticed that like political material, it used to be you could just do it.
Yeah.
But now, like, man, it's like people like want to yell at you.
Yeah.
If you do it, like they're like, I've had to now, of all the topics I've talked about, I have to preface that with like silly jokes to let people know that I have no agenda. Like I have to now say like, I'm not a Republican. If people ask me if I'm a Republican or Democrat, I just go, I'm a Scientologist. And then they're like, but I have to say that stupid thing up front so that they know I'm not going to try to like, try to proselytize or convince them of anything.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's also my stuff's not that smart. So it's like I have to, I'm not going to win anyone over on it. So I got to make sure that if I'm going to do it, that they're not going to think I'm actually trying to make a point.
Yeah.
Because I have yet to make a point.
Right.
I don't know. Do you ever like when you do your comedy? Do you have do you go out there with like an agenda? Like I'm going to change people's minds.
No, I don't.
I wish I could. Like I always think like, man, I would really like to make some kind of. I would love to make a point. Like something like really brilliant. And people be like,
Yeah.
Like, what was that movie? It was a Matthew McConaughey. It's like an old John Grisham movie, and he's talking. It's Samuel Jackson. He's like, I hope they burn in hell.
Yeah.
And it's about this, and he wins the big scene at the end. Is he's talking about this girl, and then he goes, and now imagine that she was black. Yeah. And we're like, oh, I thought she was RL. You got it. Yeah. I want to do. That's what I want. I want to have that moment where I just shatter everyone, and then they're hugging me afterwards. It's like I never knew. Meanwhile, I would hate that if they start coming. I hate talking to audience after the shows.
Yeah.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was thinking about like, you get so nervous sometimes. I know we don't get nervous anymore, but like when you're a brand new comic, you get so nervous about the audience. Like, oh, I'm going to get stage fright. And then you meet them after the show and they have the dumbest ideas about comedy. And you're just like, man, I was afraid of you. Like, well, you don't know anything about this. Yeah. But now it's like, they're so friendly. Yeah. Like that's off-putting. That is, by the way, here's something, in the time that I have deliberately and self-consciously been making myself the headliner instead of the producer, I'm the headliner of the show, audience response has changed, which is wild because they don't have any sort of industry bias. Like they don't know, well, you're a producer, that means you're probably not a good comic. They don't think anything like that. Yeah. So what it's telling me is that somehow what I am doing, I'm carrying myself differently. Yeah. And it's the energy I'm bringing out there. Yeah. And it's noticeable. And I don't know if I feel good or bad about that. Like it's good that it's positive, but like, I don't like the idea that the entire time that I struggled, it was probably me. It was probably me putting out these negative vibes in some way. Yeah. Cause it's like, you always think, I don't know about you, but I always want to think that like, that I'm doing it the right way, that I'm putting in the hard work. Yeah. And that by doing it this way, it's the best way I could be doing it. Sure. But part of that is the hard work is I get angry, I get frustrated, I get tired a lot. And now it seems that if I would just be a little bit more cheerful and confident, that would have done more. And it's such an odd thing to realize, like that. Like, oh, I am in control of everything that's happening, and I have just been doing a little bit odd. Yeah. So yeah. How are you? Like, do you ever have those kind of like? I assume most comics don't have that kind of thing where it's like they have to rebrand or like kind of shift gears. But like, have you ever done that? You ever had that kind of crisis? Like, we're like, oh, I got to change something about what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, right now with the times that we're living in, it seems like you have to change your approach, maybe, because things are going to be changing drastically. Yeah, don't you think?
I do. Yeah. I think I've noticed that it seems. Am I wrong in saying this? But it seems like everyone has left. Like Joe Rogan went to Texas. He took a lot of the store with him. Yeah. So like that's open. Yeah. And there's I'm pretty sure there's a new booker at the store also, but. It seems like everything is, and now of course with the Chateau, there's a new club. It seems like everything is new again. And like Greg Wilson had this really great piece of advice that he gave years ago. And he was like, every 2 years, your status at a club changes. Like you'll know the booker for 2 years and then it changes. If you're out at a club, 2 years, it changes. Yeah. It feels like a big reset button has been pushed. Definitely. And everyone's like, oh, we're all at the starting line together. Yeah. So like guys like you, like this is, I'm trying to do this. This is in my head right now. This you are doing currently what I've had in my head. Yeah. So now I get to again look at you and go, oh, this is possible. This is what I want to do.
Absolutely. You're great for this sort of platform because I mean you're such a good talker and you're just so genuine in the way that you speak and I think and you're very entertaining. Very funny, and so I think this is a good platform for you. What you were saying about people either knowing the booker, then every 2 years, things change and stuff like that. Not only did a lot of people leave California, right, to go elsewhere to do comedy or whatever they're going to do, and a lot of people left the store. But then these big comics are getting like, getting
nailed. Yeah.
And, yeah,
yeah, it's funny. It's like, it's when you think back on it, like I'll leave all names out just in case, but like you would go to the store and you'd be like, man, these guys are getting a lot of girls. Like, wow. And like, they're like, yeah, man, blankety blank is a real, he's a real hound. Right. And you're like, yeah, this guy's great with girls, like a different night every week. And then suddenly like, oh, I guess that wasn't so good. I guess you weren't supposed to do that. Yeah, yeah. But I always think about like if I had made it earlier, yeah, dude, I would be so out. Like, there's no chance. There's no chance I wouldn't have done something stupid. Zero chance. But luckily for me, my lack of money and success stopped me from being given the opportunity to ruin myself. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like back when I was much younger, I did a lot of drugs.
Nice.
And yeah. I'm fine. That's what I always tell people, like, where's my story? He did drugs, now he's fine.
Yeah.
But like, if it's only fine because I only had enough money to do what I did.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't go past the point of where I wanted to go because, but dude, if I would have had money, like I wouldn't, you'd be talking to somebody else about me.
Right.
Maybe. Like, that's because
you'd be a Belushi.
Or
Chris Farley.
I would be a Belushi, but which Belushi would I be? Either one, either Belushi. But yeah, it's I think about that. Like it's like you kind of like you wish you would have changed things in your life earlier, but at the same time, nah. Because but you're right. All the older comics though, I've noticed I've been thinking about this a lot. Older people don't like, you want to offend some old person, go cancel culture. Like they hate that. Oh my God. It gets upset. And like, you know what young people hate? What? When an old person complains about cancel culture. Like, have you they're canceling people. The young people are like, you racist. Or you want to molest her. Like, it's always like, because there's nothing signals that you are not part of this younger generation than complaining about being morally righteous. And young people love being morally righteous. Like they love it. And it's kind of easy now because all of us have been, trying to do like scam people. And everyone's been trying to like, get laid. Yeah. Everyone's got demons in their closet. And it's like, but there's no right answer. I was thinking about this. I think I know why older comics don't like cancel culture. And it's simply because they are not aware of where the line where it sits until they violate it, until they say that thing that you're not supposed to say. And then they're found, because there's no forgiveness. Right. At least I haven't seen any forgiveness. Like if somebody says something bad, dastardly, then they're out, but there's no coming back in. Like I unless I'm wrong, I haven't seen anyone come back in. Even like the one that was surprising me is Aziz Ansari. Aziz, like, I don't think he did anything wrong, but man, he lost like a year of his life to the whole crisis that he had. And I was just like, okay, that's the first time when I was like, this seems like a little bit off. But at the same time, I think it's absolutely right. And what happened to him was totally right. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form siding with anyone who does anything wrong. But I know that because that's like, I don't want to have anyone go after me. Right. Because people, it's funny, but people still do. Like, because I ran all those new talent shows. People who I've never met will be mean to me, who I've never met them. And I'm like, why, who are you? And they're like, I know who you are. Everyone hates you. And I'm like, what? I'm not kidding. I had a phone call and I was like, everyone hates you. I'm like, who are you? Why do they hate me? Who are these people? Who? Yeah. And it's something I wish I would have known. And it's not who you interact with sometimes, but it's the fact of the people who never meet you, who hear about you. And because comics everyone likes to have an opinion about everybody. Yeah. It doesn't matter if they've ever met them. Right. They'll just copy the opinion of somebody who they like and respect who has met them. Yeah. And so you run into these people who have feelings about you, strong emotional feelings. Yeah. They've never met you.
Yeah. So, I mean, dude, everything's shut down. We're stuck in our houses. What were you doing?
So during the pandemic, I did nothing, literally nothing. So I had one idea and I wasn't able to do it. I worked on it for like 8 months. And it was simply this. I wanted to make online shows as good as regular shows. And so I knew people were doing them on Zoom. Yeah. And no one liked it. Yeah. So I was like, there has to be a way to turn a Zoom audience into a regular audience. Yeah. And I identified what the problem was. The problem was that the Zoom audience has the same volume as the comedian. So everyone can be interrupted. Like they're all the same amount. Wow. That's the issue. Yeah. So I was like, well, that can't be a problem to solve. There's got to be some way that you could essentially take the incoming audio from the audience and then lower it to like 30%. So you can hear the audience as a whole, but individuals can't interrupt you. Right. It's impossible. Oh. I spent 8 months researching it, 8 months looking everywhere. There's not one company that can figure it out. Well, there's one. It's called NEP Sweetwater. And for $20,000, Jesus, if you buy their LED monster wall, they have the hardware that will do that. The problem is latency. You can't process the audio inside like a meeting and bring it back to the same audio. It just goes out of sync. 8 months I worked on it and I couldn't make it work. So I was doing nothing. I did no Zoom shows. So besides that, I taught myself piano, which was great. I enjoyed that. I taught myself some drums. And
your YouTube videos?
Did I do YouTube? Oh, well, no.
How'd you learn?
So I have a degree. I have 2 degrees in trumpet. So like I knew music.
Okay.
So I was able to like for piano. I got really lucky. I have a neighbor named Amanda, and she's friends with Andy Dick, who, by the way, side note, is one of the funniest human beings I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
When he is sober. I have
never.
Well, no. Here's the crazy thing. So he and Amanda are good friends. So I've had the pleasure of multiple times meeting sober Andy Dick, and he is the funniest, friendliest, like intimidatingly so. And like, I don't think he does stand up because I was like, he was doing some conversational thing and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's like the funniest thing I've heard. Do you do stand up? And he was like, not really. And I was like, okay. Then I've never hung out with the other Andy Dick, the one that everyone seems to know, the crazy Andy Dick.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, I think of Andy Dick as like the awesome gunwords.
Yeah.
So Amanda, that's his good friend, who that's why he was hanging out, was my neighbor. And she's this amazing musician, and she just was getting rid of a piano that she had. And I was like, oh, and so she gave it to me. She gave me her little keyboard. And so I knew music.
Yeah.
And so I was able to just only had to practice with the hands. And so I just started, I took some books.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can do this. And then,
oh, cool.
Yeah. And so I got to play this. I play honky tonk piano and things like that.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. But that's really all I did. And did I learn it well enough to do it professionally? No. So I kind of look at it like a weird side thing I did for like 8 months.
Yeah.
How about you? What did you do? What did you do? You did this. You did,
this. Well, I learned how to do this.
Yeah.
How about that? Through YouTube videos.
It's funny. Like in the process of trying to do that with the Zoom shows, I learned all these aspects, like the lighting, 3-point lighting, how to do with the cameras, the OBS, all those parts. And it still doesn't come natural to me. Mm-hmm. No. Like the one thing I did do, and I'm still going to keep doing, and I love, is the online show. I love Zoom shows.
Cool.
I regret, that's not a strong word, but because I wasn't able to do it the way that I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I refused to do it the way everyone was doing it. Oh. And I wish I had sooner, because once I gave up, I was like, all right, this is over. I'll just do a Zoom show. It was very enjoyable. I love how the dynamic is not like a comedy show. I enjoy the fact that I can talk to an audience for like an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like I can, if I have these bits about women, and you can never in a club, it's like, go, hold on a second, guys. How do you actually feel? Women, how do you feel about this thing? And then have a conversation and then really zoom in on like something and then go back out into being funny. But for some reason with Zoom shows, the dynamic existed. You can go serious, back to comedy, to serious, whereas you could never do it at a club. Like people would be like, oh, I'm bored. So the attention span is so long.
Oh, okay.
Also, the other part was Zoom, all online shows still work. This is something that I don't think comics think about, but I did. And it's simply this. I did Zoom shows in Florida and in Texas after both places opened up. And I had the same response as when I was doing shows in places that are locked down. People will go to Zoom shows forever. And the reason it's meaningful is you pick a city that you're not really set up in and you market towards that city, and you'll get people who will go to your Zoom show. Now, you don't need that. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
You do that, and all you have to do is you can build up a base in any city without having to actually tour there first.
Okay.
And then once you have enough people, you can then go to a venue and be like, hey, I got people. Or like Michael Q was telling me, rent a theater. So that's my new project is. I'm picking these cities. I'm doing Zoom shows in the cities to build up the base. And then I know from like live shows, like how many people I need to have on a list before I can count on just that list to fill it up.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to do it that way.
Cool.
And so it turns out in Austin, there's a place called the Creek and the Cave, which is owned by the people who owned in New York, the Creek and the Cave, which was in Astoria, Queens, where I used to live.
Oh, wow.
So it's like all these things are happening. Like I now have a way to go on tour that I never thought about. Like literally go on tour online, build it up, and then go there in person. And
it's awesome.
It's made the pandemic great.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate saying that, but it was frustrating when I was doing nothing and wasn't able to make things work. But weirdly enough, near the end, all these kind of projects that I hadn't been able to work are kind of feeding in together. Because I tried to make that online show work, I had to learn about lights. I had to learn about sound. I had to learn why sound didn't work. Yeah. But I learned it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm able to do these parts, and I'm more facile with things such as production that I ever would have been had things gone well in the pandemic. And so and it seems like you've also taught yourself.
Yeah.
Did you know how to do everything before this?
Well, I knew a lot of the audio stuff from DJing.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Yeah, that came pretty easy.
Yeah.
And then just incorporating it with the video.
Do you still DJ at all?
Just myself.
How is it? So I just I bought a virtual DJ, the most recent
cool.
one. Oh my Lord, it is better.
You having fun?
Have you heard of? They can do things called. When I say stems? Have you heard of stems? It's like where they'll take a song and they'll bring every track.
Yeah.
I would have killed for that back when I was like DJing as like for a living. Like that would have made DJing so easy. I remember hearing about like vinyl guys would be like, it's so easy to DJ now, and I'd be like, whatever. But now it's like so much easier now than it was even when I was doing it. But virtual DJ, the new one, it's phenomenal. You can just like, I used to do mashups. I was a mashup DJ.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh my God, it's so easy now. I was like, boop, boop, boop. It's funny. I was looking at consoles, DJ consoles, and they're all advanced. And I was like, wait a second here. What did I used to use? And I had to go on eBay, like to like the use section, but I found my old console. I bought it for like $25.
You did?
Yeah. And it works perfectly still. So like I was able to, so now I'm bringing it back for comedy shows.
Cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Very cool. Yeah, no, I
jealous. I remember it was like, the one thing I never was able to do, something you could do, and I think Jack Jr. could do also, which was the voice.
Yeah.
I can't do that DJ voice, man. I was never able to make it work. I don't know why. But I know you could do it. You had that.
Didn't you work at a club for a while? A strip club?
You got me an audition.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny. I only think I did I went there. I went down there, and I don't think they listened to me, or I think I didn't do well. But it's because I didn't do the voice.
Oh, okay.
I was like, all right, coming to the stage next, we have Diamond, and there's gotta be 2 for 1s, guys. Fellas, come on, please, somebody.
That's hilarious.
These ladies need some love.
Did you want to hear something crazy? One of the owners at one of the clubs I used to work at, he's now doing stand-up.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you should, yes, that's have you been working with him, help him out?
No, I mean, I just seen him online. He was probably like maybe like a year or 2 in before the shutdown.
Oh, yeah?
Right? So he's like still a newbie. And he was doing a lot of big mic shows before.
Man.
Yeah, rest in peace. Yeah,
dude, I can't believe that. That sucks.
I know.
I was when I found out he was gone. I was looking at his Facebook page, and there was Bruce Jingles, because I didn't know how close those two were.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Yeah, they're super close. But Bruce had he just gave like kind of an update about Mike, and it made me happy because it was like Mike had met somebody and he had moved, and he was happy at the end. Like it's like, I don't know, it's never good when someone dies, but but I feel like he didn't go out bad. Like he went out on top. Like he had met someone, he was happy, they were together. It's like, it's great. So it's like, because he hustled so hard, man. Like I get so bummed at like how the people who work the hardest, I've noticed, do not get.
Nope.
It's like, and I get it because he was an older black guy, which is just not what young comedy likes. But man, he that's what he did. Like in my mind, he made it. Like I was talking to this guy, comic Dean Larrett. I don't know if you know Dean. Dean's a good guy. Been around forever. Been around for a long time. And when I met him, he's like very New York sounding. I don't know how to explain it, but when I first met him, I was like, he sounded so much like New York that I was like, this guy must be full of shit. Has to be. But like, he's a very wise guy, just real smart. And we were talking recently, and he goes, "You made it, Matt." And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" He goes, "Dude, what have you been doing?" I'm like, "Nothing but comedy for like the last 18 years." He goes, "You made it."
That's
and
awesome.
I'm like, "Yeah, I did make it." And I look at Mike, like Mike made it. Mike made it happen the whole time.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I tell people all the time that, I've been out in LA since 2000.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Long time.
And I'm still here. And that's what I consider making it.
It is.
You know how hard this city is to live in and to last. You know what I mean? You were saying how much you like it out here. Well, so do I. Yeah. I really like it out here. And for me, in order for me to stay out here and to be doing what we're doing, I consider me making it.
Yeah. It's weird because it's one of those realizations that you can only have once you're that far into comedy. It's like, oh, that is all I've been doing. And then someone's like, yeah, you should start appreciating it more. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I should. Because like my life on paper is exciting.
Yeah.
I did all these crazy things and very cool. I DJ'd for a living for 2 years out of nowhere for no reason.
That's awesome.
But I never allowed myself to enjoy it. I was always like, I was always very focused on what wasn't happening in my life. And well, the downside is I didn't enjoy things much, but that that feeling of lack did move me forward. So it's like, I kind of wish I could have kept the drive that came from like that kind of, jealous resentment. And like my brother actually had a really great a description of how to use jealousy. And he goes, if you don't know what you want to do in life and you're feeling aimless, ask yourself, who are you jealous of? Because that's really what you want to do. So, and I was like, and it's helped because sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. So I go, who am I pissed at right now? Who do I feel doesn't deserve what they're getting?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I guess that's what I want to do. And it's been helping me out. So
that's cool.
Yeah. It's
really cool.
It's like a positive spin on jealousy. So it's like, maybe not.
No, I like that. Yeah, because I feel the same way too. Like I'm all for that, like not patting yourself on the back and just like, putting your head down and working harder, you know what I mean? And, if that motivates you, if you're still like, I'm still a piece of shit, and I still need to do all these things. Well, if that's the way you're going to get motivated and you're going to kick yourself in the ass and that's going to make you work harder, then go for it.
I am of that exact opinion. I think that is a very much a East Coast, maybe not West Coast opinion, just because I have noticed that people out here, now this is not a judgment on anybody or anything like that. It's just a different mindset, but like, it's more important that you seem like you're doing it easily, that you seem like you're gliding through life, that it seems like it's fun. Whereas for me, it's like, no, do the work. Like if someone's going to like out here, if you yell at somebody, that you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Even if the person dropped the ball, even if the person did something wrong, the fact that you yelled at them is the more important thing. But in New York, like people yell at you.
Yeah.
If you did something stupid, they yelled at you and then it was done. Like they yelled at you and then you were friends afterwards. Like, you stupid idiot, don't ever fucking do it again. I'll fire you. I'm beating yourself. And then it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And then they let it go.
Yeah.
But out here, that does not seem to be the right way to be. Now I don't think either side's better. I just think that I like my put the head down, do the work, and then you can congratulate yourself on accomplishments, but not on who you know, not on how things are going, but just on the work you've done.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the right mindset out here. I really don't, but I can't help it. So I hopefully there'll be enough people like us.
Yeah.
And then we'll all.
Yeah. No, it's tough, man. You're just like one of those people that, you don't, congratulate yourself and you just, you work harder and that's what you do and it drives you.
Yeah.
Keeps you going.
Yeah. I'm tired a lot now. That's the craziest thing. I used to hear people say when they got older, they would lose a step, right? Like things get harder and all that. But like, I am getting tired now, which is the weirdest thing in the world. Like I will never let myself sleep if I have work to do. Like I will just keep going.
Yeah.
And like, I guess like when I'm 42. So like when I turned, I don't know, 42, sure, maybe somewhere around there, I stopped being able to push myself to complete things. Like I don't know how to describe it other than I would get so tired I couldn't think. And I'd be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go to sleep. But before I used to be like, I can just do it and keep pushing through, get more coffee, push through, I'll go to sleep tomorrow when the cycle gets back on. I'm a champion. And now my body's like, you're going to bed.
Yeah.
You're going to bed right now.
Yeah.
And well, actually, no, my body still goes, no, you could totally try, go for it. But then my brain's like, no, you go to bed. Like, you're not, I would just sit there and I'd have to do something like, I'd have to like send an email and I was like to my audience, right, to check them in. And I'd say, hey guys, hey, great show, right? And that's a simple thing. That's a simple thing I've done 1,000 times. And I would just sit there and I would just be like, what am I supposed to do next? And then I would realize this shouldn't be difficult. Like I should just be able to autopilot. And I've realized that when we get really tired, we start taking shortcuts that actually end up taking more time. Like instead of just, all right, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to wake up early and get this done. I'm like, I'm going to try to get this done now. And it makes like a task that was like 30 minutes, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then it's simple things like that. Like where before it's like my old mindset was right for my old mind.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I have to adjust a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just getting older. And the thing I complain is, why is it not getting older is not getting better? It's like, shouldn't we be getting better? I think about this all the time. If I meet God, I have a laundry list of complaints. And one's going to be like, what's up with everything got harder? Like, I feel that there should be a second puberty. There should be something there should be things that we look forward to as we go, like, man, you're 70, you can see in the dark or bullshit like that. Like something be nice or like at least I think about like how everyone is afraid of young people. I think young people are kind of aware of this, but like older people are scared to death of millennials. Scared to death because one, there's more millennials. Like, I think millennials and the Gen Z look at the older people like, why are you guys still here? Like, why are you alive? Like, what is the point of this? Like, you're just in the way.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that we allow it because we very much worship youth. You know, like everyone's young, good.
Yeah.
But young people are stupid. They're just so dumb.
Yeah.
And like I was thinking like we should just be able to trick them. I really think like old people need to get together and be like, all right, it's time to just we're gonna make these young people work for us somehow. Like, let's get a draft again. We need a draft to thin them out a little bit.
Yeah,
you know? And like, have you ever like I thought that when I heard a young person lie to me. And I knew what he was lying about. Like, I was like, dude, I know exactly what you're doing. I lied like that 10 years ago. You're not fooling me. And that's why I realized, like, young people can't fool us. We've heard the crap already. Like, they are new versions of us.
Yeah, yeah.
So we should trick them.
Yeah.
I don't know why. We've got to figure something out. Like older is, like, what do they say? Like 40 is the new 20. We should just make it like 20 sucks. You can't wait to 50 or 70. 70 should be like the goal. 70, you know. My friend Craig always says old is 20 years older than what you are. So I was like, yeah, so maybe 70. 70 would be perfect. Just something like that. Like when you get old, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
You turn 80.
Yeah.
If you make it to 80, everything should be free.
Yeah.
My mom's 79. She does, my mom's brilliant. My mom's like smarter than I ever will be. But she knows how everyone feels always about things. She just can read a room like crazy. Like she can do like cold reading, you know, like when someone like John Edwards, like, someone here's grandfather's, you know, it seems like they're psychic, but they're just reading it. My mom can do that.
Wow.
My brother can too. It's amazing. But my mom can play it so well. Like she had, it's funny, the IRS, like she did our taxes not too long ago. And she was like, all right, I may have taken something as a credit and as a deduction. I'm like, Mom, you can't do that. She was like, I know. But I'm so old. I'll just tell them I got confused. I was like, oh. She's like, and then what happened? She was supposed to get a refund. And so she's like, I was supposed to get a $4,000 refund, but they gave me $1,400. I was like, what'd you do, Mom? I was like, I called them. Like, you did? I was like, yeah. What happened? They gave me back my money. I'm like, why? What did you say? I just told them I was old. Yeah. And I was like, would you do that to your mother? And I was like, that's brilliant. Yeah. Like, so I like those kind of things. Like she knows how to use her age.
That's awesome.
And I think I look at that like that's something I want to try at some point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've tried it before, but it doesn't work. I've tried to do like that. I'm old and things confuse me, but they're like, you're not old. I can just tell. Or one time I remember, I don't want to share it, but this one guy was at a bank. I was at a bank and the ATM ate my check. I was depositing a check and I needed that check to go through. Yeah. So I went inside and the manager looked at me. I was like, and did not help me. Like he looked at me. Went, and he was like, maybe I don't believe you. I'm like, dude, okay, I've been a bank member here or whatever the hell is for. And so I was like, and he was like, well, I'm going to help you. And I realized, oh, you're being racist. You're being, because he wasn't a white dude. You're being racist. And I was like, thank you. And then I was like, as I'm there, I called my bank and I was like, I'd like to experience some racism. Yeah. By the way, if you ever call any corporation and say you've had any kind of discrimination, you immediately go right up the ladder of customer service. Wow. And I'll never forget it because I'm on the phone with this lady and she's listening to my voice. Yeah. And I'm complaining about this racist interaction I had, which it was. Yeah. It was, but I'm a white guy. Yeah. And you could tell that she was listening to my voice like, why is he complaining about racism? Yeah. And they made everything right. But I was like, oh, I get it now. It was the first time I'd experienced racism and I used it to my own advantage, which I feel terrible about. Because I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, dude, this racism thing is great. And she's like, shut up. I'm like, no, it's phenomenal. I was able to get things. And she's like, that's because you had one interaction that was racist. That was it. One. I was like, yeah, well, how many happen usually? And she was like, every moment of every day. I was like, okay, yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. I've become, this pandemic has really opened my eyes to how race is in America. Because my girlfriend's, she's black. Mm-hmm. So it's been a very sensitive time right now. And I've been trying to make this a joke. I can't really make it a joke, but I finally understand what white privilege is. Like and the joke I've been trying to do is that white people don't know what that means. Because if you ever say white privilege to a white dude, they're always like, well, I don't have any white privilege. Like they always act like it's like that the other person is assuming that they're like getting money out of nowhere and shit's happening that's benefits. But that's not what it means. Right. It just means we don't have to think about race. Right. And it finally hit me like, oh, That's cool. And so I've been trying to make that a joke, and I can't make it work yet. I'm trying to the idea is I'm trying to make people feel patient about white people, because like it's like I hear a lot like, why do I have to adapt? Like if this white guy, why do I have to be patient for him? And it's like, because you have to, because white people are very sensitive, and we don't like when people don't believe us. It's always like, we need that patience. If you want us to change, we need the patience. And one of those things is like white privilege.
Yeah.
Like it's literally a slip of language that it just needs, white people just need to know it doesn't mean you're getting a benefit. It just means you don't have to think about race. And that took me literally 2 years of all the time hearing about white privilege until I finally was like, oh, I get it now. I get it. Sorry. Magneto.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Yeah. It's this time right now. I mean, did you hear what happened to Tony Hinchcliffe?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I didn't see the video, but I'm not I like Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Or so I'll say right now for this. I like everybody. That's another thing. I'm very positive on all comedians.
Yeah.
But, in terms of, am I surprised? Like maybe you shouldn't in this atmosphere say what you're saying. Like maybe you should just not do that.
Right.
Like, but did you watch it? Like I've heard about it.
Yeah.
It seems like he was being obvious that he was kidding, but he was mean.
Yeah.
That's my understanding of it. How do you feel about it?
He was just being himself.
So yeah, that seems like it. Like I've seen a few things with comics where you either hear about what they said or you'll read about it, and you're like, yeah, it's just, you can hear their voice,
right?
And you're like, oh yeah, of course they're kidding,
right?
But then the world has. My mom always says the world has no sense of humor.
Right.
This has saved me a lot.
Yeah.
The world has no sense of humor.
Yeah.
You're on stage, it has a sense of humor, but never joke, never kid, and always be aware.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So whatever happened, has there been fallout from that?
Yeah. Yeah. His agent, his management team dropped him, and he had tour dates with Joe Rogan to open for him, because that's
and they're not doing. He's not doing that, because Rogan, it seems to me, would have no problem with everything Tony said. Like, God bless Joe Rogan. He is a nice person who I respect a lot, but at the same time, just gonna, draw your own conclusion about Joe Rogan. He's a good man, who may or may not think thoughts that are very wrong, and he's so big and scary that you're never going to argue with him, because like, could you imagine? Right. Hey, Joe Rogan, you're full of shit about this. Like, yeah, it would never happen, because it's like no one. He's just, but I don't know. I look at that whole group of people as like, all right, they weren't exactly the friendliest people in the world. So it's like, all right, they moved to Texas, fine, cool. Yeah. And then they convinced all these other comics to move out to Texas with them. Yeah. And like, I always just keep going, like, they're not going to stay there, because like Texas is very unpleasant in the summertime. Like, oh my Lord, everyone who moved to Austin, you deserve what you're about to get. You deserve it. And I think it was what's her name? Rachel Wilson had a really funny little thing where she's like, everyone who leaves has got to audition when they come back. I'm like, yeah, I like that. That's
funny.
Yeah. It's like, I can't believe what's happening in Austin now is just like what happened in Minneapolis. Minneapolis. That's what the Acme Comedy Company is. Yeah. I'm not talking about any Minneapolis more recently that's been different, but like 10 to 15 years ago, every idiot in comedy was like, Minneapolis has got the scene, man. They've got the scene. It's like, you don't understand. It's brilliant. It's all these guys. It's like, no, it's not. It's an okay scene. There's one club and there's a few good people. You think they're amazing because you're a brand new idiot yourself, but it's never going to be LA. It's never going to be New York. Yeah. I think that's what got me in trouble. I think in San Diego was me telling people it's never going to be like, why San Diego's trying to build itself up to be like, we're going to be this big comedy city. It's like, dude, it's never going to happen. LA is literally next door. Yeah. No one's going to come here. Like that's, actually, I'm sorry. What happened was I brought an agent down and he said that to them.
Really?
Yeah. And then they didn't like that. But it's a truthful statement though. Like certain things aren't going to happen. You can't just follow somebody and hope like Austin's gonna be the new thing. It's like, oh, because you're struggling in LA, is that why? And you need to start over again? That doesn't work. You have to just pause. Yeah. And then accept it. Yeah. And go back out there. Like, but everyone would rather move and try again. But like, there's like a Jay-Z lyric. It's like, no matter where you go, there you are. And it's like, dude, it's like, you are who you are no matter what.
Yeah.
Like you got to just stop and be like, all right, things aren't working so well.
Right.
Acknowledge it and adapt.
Yeah.
And you can't just hope, well, maybe if I'm in a different city.
Yeah.
That's maybe my ideal people, they just don't live near me. It's
Yeah.
no, everyone reacts to you how you are.
Yeah.
But also that's one of those things you only learn from unpleasant realization. Like, I never wanted to adapt. Like, when I moved to LA, I didn't want to have to change who I was. I liked who I was. I thought I was the right way to act. It took life smacking me in the face a few times for me to realize, oh, I am not doing it the right way. And then I had to stop and go, like, all right, what am I doing? Like, what's actually happening? And that's very hard. It's very difficult to like look inside and go, what about what I am doing is wrong? And what about what I am doing is right? Because it's hard, because everything that you do, I believe everything that someone does that's good and admirable is also linked to the things that are self-destructive and bad. You know, like you can be a hustler who does their own thing, who doesn't take no for an answer and is like pushing, but at the same time, that same person's not going to listen to good advice.
Yeah.
They're not going to be a team player.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to kind of like to cut out the parts that aren't working.
Yeah.
Because you can also look at them and go, well, there's positive things that they led to as well. And it's difficult because reflection's difficult. Like any kind of introspection's hard because I don't know about you, but I've never learned how to do it. Like I wish there was like a book, how to look inside and learn what's right and wrong and adapt. But I don't think that exists. Or maybe like, it's the Bible, man. It's the Bible. But so you have to do it yourself, and it's difficult. And so we would rather blame other people. I know I would love to be able to point to all the things that didn't work out in my life and be like, that was that guy and that guy. Yeah. But really, it's never. It's always because I didn't navigate it correctly, because I allowed myself to make the wrong choice or I think every failure can have this line in it. I allowed myself to have this happen because everything that I thought was taken from me by someone who's dishonest or any kind of, I was stopped. It's because I put myself in that position. Yeah. And I mean, multiple times. It wasn't like I learned from the first time I allowed myself to get taken advantage of. Or the second. It took so many times until I hit the point where I was like, if it happened again, I would be homeless. Then I was like, all right, I gotta adapt. And so it's very difficult. And it's one of the things you don't want to do, but you do it and then hopefully things get better.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
No, I mean, that's great. I mean, you take accountability, and so do I. And I don't blame other people for, anything that happened to me. I blame myself, that DUI that I got, it's my fault. It's, I was going 115 down to 101.
Damn.
After a show,
in LA traffic too. That's amazing. How did you even pull that one off? Like Dante Chang, he's built, his store got looted during the riot.
It was so sad, dude. I heard about that.
I was angrier than he was. Like, I was pissed. I was like,
took your Jordans.
Yeah. I was like, because we're watching it, and I'm like, wait, this area looks no. Oh no. And he never got bothered at all.
That's what I heard.
Like, it was. He has just the best attitude on earth for that.
Dude, like, God bless him, dude.
Really. He
I would have been pissed.
I would have been pissed. He never was. He was just like, I have yet to see him get upset at anything.
Yeah.
He made that like one of the best things that ever happened to him. Like, he was able to, he took a very big lemon and he turned it into his own studio. Yeah, he took that opportunity to fix things and he made it into like, he has like a private studio more or less. He built all these rooms. Awesome. Like, it's phenomenal. And I'm just amazed by that. Like, I'm always impressed when anyone can take something that's negative and just I'm going to use this. I'm going to use it. And I know it's the right way to be, but it's so difficult. You took the pandemic and made it into a, for those of you at home, this place is amazing. In case you're curious. Man. I feel now it's like, man, I should be doing better in life. I should not be this impressed, I don't think. Because it's like, this is great, but this is great.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it.
I love the cameras over there, like the old cameras.
My dad got those at a garage sale. Yeah? And he was hanging out to him. Have
you ever tried to use one of those old cameras with film? Like, it's impossible to me. My uncle's a photographer. I have my own movie studio worth of equipment now. He gave me everything.
Really?
Really unfairly handed me things. Like,
Oh, wow.
Hey, would you like a world's best lenses? Yes, please. Here you go.
Wow.
Here's this one and this one. And then would you like to learn how to use them? Yeah. Here, I'll show you how to do it. Like everything you could ask for. And except film, he had to deal with film, and film is just like a boo.
Yeah.
Like I've heard about it. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. You know, I kind of feel like a fraud because, you know, I got into photography and videography when it became easy. You know what I mean? Kind of like Paris Hilton got into DJing when it was like, hit this button and
that's
you're
when
a
I got into DJing. I was like, that's great. Yeah. I'd use vinyl. Like, Jesus Christ, that sounds difficult. How did you push it? Like, how did you beat mash? Well, we got to use it. Like, what did you? You push a button, right? Oh, just like, well, that sucks. But I think I saw you have a drone.
Yeah.
I have this belief that all aliens are just drones. It's just drones that we just. I mean, they look like all the circular. It's just drones.
Yeah,
I think that's Area 51 was just research for drones.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, you know, like all these aliens. Like, have you noticed that there's tons of articles, tons of news stories about all these things that they're seeing in the sky, and the military is releasing all these videos.
Yeah.
And like head of the Israeli Space Force was like, yes, they're real. Our old head of our Space Force. Yeah, everyone's saying they're real. I just think that there's drones. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right. Do you think there's aliens?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think so.
No?
Yeah. Or if they are, I think maybe my cats could be aliens. Because every once in a while I'll say aliens, and then the two cats will look at each other, and then they'll like just keep doing what they're doing. I'm like, what the hell was that? I don't know. Like, I don't think there's aliens. But if there are aliens, who knows? Right?
Yeah.
Let's just hope that they're all white, right? Could you imagine if the aliens show up, they're all, not white?
We're fucked, right?
Yeah. Well, the white guys are at least. We're screwed. But that's...
So what makes you come to that? Have you always thought that? Or?
With the aliens?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I always wanted there to be... When I was younger, I role played. I love fantasy. I like science fiction. All those things were me. And I always wished there were better movies. And then suddenly all these good movies came out that were like, like comic movies. And I realized I don't believe those things anymore. Like, I don't think that if there were aliens, we would know there would be some interaction. It wouldn't just be like, oh, they just showed up now.
Yeah.
Just now, right? Yeah, just now they showed up. It's like, but we had no inkling of them before. I don't see it. There's this thing called the Fermi paradox or something, which is about maybe space is so big and time is so long that even if there were aliens, the odds of them existing now close enough to meet us are like zero. Because I have a big, I love physics. I love anything to do with astronomy. I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about it. It all makes no sense. I think half of them are making it up. I really do. I really believe like some of it makes sense, but I really think half of it is just, there's no one who can check on this. Let's just agree. There's nothing. Because if some astronomer goes like, all right, listen, this is a planet made out of diamonds. Yeah. The planet's made out of diamonds because of this and this reason that all are BS.
Yeah, who's going to argue with that?
Yeah. Who's going to you ask another astronomer? Right. Like, you're going to be like, yeah. Did you say diamonds? Yeah, totally diamonds. It's like, it's just, and I was like, all right, I just don't see it. But also, I think the one thing is like, if there are aliens, God, I hope we don't meet them. I really do. Because
same here.
It's like, there's a long precedent that's been set of when the more advanced culture meets the less advanced culture.
Yep.
They don't hug them and go, hey, here's time for fun advancements. They're like, we're going to rape these people.
Well, I'm a product of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's when the Spaniards came over and said hi to the,
but you look
Native
so
Americans.
good. There's some Spaniard in the past that was like a good looking.
No, and then he fancied an Aztec and said, hey, you know what?
He fancied. Yeah. What's funny is like, this is true. My family on my mom's side were slaves. Yeah, no, it's true. They were Slovaks in Eastern Europe. The Slovaks were the slaves. There's Czechs and the Slovaks. The Slovaks were slaves, not like indentured service. Were slaves. And when I found that out,
who enslaved them?
The Czechs.
Okay.
So,
and those Czechs, man.
Yeah,
who do you think they are?
Apparently, they thought they were the people who enslaved. And the thing is that.
What year was this?
It was like the 1500s, like forever ago. Like it's not like it was recently. It's way a long time ago. when I found that out, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I can finally tell black people I was also a slave. I have been trying for years to make that work on stage. And just, just not even close. Not even. Ian Edwards actually had like the funniest idea.
Make sure I go before you if you're ever going to try out that bit, Matt.
Well, no, it's like they all look at the same. They look at like my slavery in my past wasn't as good. And Ian Edwards made the point, like, how hard could it have been to escape if you're a white slave? You just put on a hat. Now you're the guy who has a slave. I was like, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right. But I always think about that. Like, I don't know. I always also think about like people who try to like, I had a funny thing. This one person was at one of my shows and he was like, I want 40 acres and a mule, right? Like that was some Black Audience member. And I was just like, I don't think I would want that. Like that is the offer because apparently we offered them, then we didn't go through. But would you want that? Would you want your 40 acres and a mule? Like I would have a dead mule and a bunch of dirt. That's if I had to, because if they gave it to me, I wouldn't know how to take care of a mule. That would be the worst thing ever.
You're talking to somebody that takes a free sample at Costco just because it's free.
Dude, my mother,
not anymore, but when they were giving
my mom, I've been trying to make this a joke and I can't, but my mother is a very proper woman. Like when she emails me, she ends it with your mother, you know, like when you say mother, mother, it's a very proper. My mom is sweet, wonderful, but she likes to steal at Costco. She loves to go to Costco. We'll get samples. Let's go get samples. Yeah. And we'll go, and my mom will like send me out like to hustle. She'll be like, all right, Matthew, you go there and go get one. While you're doing that, I'm going to grab another one. Like my mom, I'll set a pic for my mom.
Yeah.
And then I notice all old people love Costco. Like, I don't know what it is. Like they treat you, don't steal, don't be rude, don't push or shove, unless you're in Costco and you have samples, and then like you'll get trampled. Yeah, but that's true. I love going though. Yeah, because like if I ever need to get like to improve like my ability to speak up for myself or be aggressive, I just go watch my mom go through because like she doesn't give a fuck at all. She will just I want more. She'll go to the same person. Yeah, balls out, be like I'd like to have another one of those. And I'm like, did she just get one? No. They'll look at her and she'll just look at him. It's just, and then the second she's away, she's like, I don't even want it. She's like, why do you do it? But she loved it. So I like it too. I want to do that. I want to have the confidence of a senior citizen at Costco. Yeah. That is like, that should be like a magical superpower. Like a heart of lion, courage of senior citizen at Costco, taking samples. Yeah. Those samples are good though.
Dude. I love Costco.
I love Costco as well. I'm a member. Cheapest gas on earth. There you go. Do you get your gas? You got to get it. If you have a membership, go get your gas at Costco. Yeah. It's like 80 cents cheaper. Right. Like it's worth just making a trip. My mom will be like, you need to get some gas? I'm like, Mom, I need some gas. She's like, we'll go together. I'm like, okay. Because whenever you drive with any family member, at least in my family, I don't know about yours, but my family, you can't drive slow enough. Like it's just impossible. Like, Matthew, it says 25 mile an hour speed limit. Like, Mom, I'm going like 9. She's like, just take your foot off the gas.
No, I know. That's how my dad is. He's 79 as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's up there too, man. And he's a control freak. So he only likes to drive. So, you know.
Yeah, is he? My mom was a lifelong Democrat until Trump. Then she became a Republican, which is such an odd thing. So, like, because my mother has changed as she's gotten older. But the thing is, she's very self-aware, so she understands like I get bothered by it. She's like, Matthew, I understand. You know, when you're young, you're supposed to be a Democrat, but then you get older and you learn things, and then you cease being stupid and you become a Republican. I'm like, what? And the thing I've realized is that really older people, like really 79, like people that age, they're who they are. Yeah. And we're so much younger that they look at us like, you're an idiot. You're just an idiot. Right. Because that's probably the right way to be. And so like they have their way of life. Yeah. And it is to them, they're absolutely set in it. Yeah. And it's weird because some things are different than what we believe. Yeah. And they don't have I can't speak for all of them, and I don't know your dad at all, but I believe that he's probably like the rest of them, where like he is right. What he believes is right. And when you're younger and you believe something, but someone has a different belief, you'll entertain it. And you'll be like, I'm open to learning about it because I have time to change. Man. Older people are like, no, you're wrong. That's stupid. That's who they are. That's what they're like, all of them. And you're like, whoa. We don't do that anymore. They're like, well, that's wrong too. We're like, oh, okay. Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about, I've been trying to come up with a reason why racism is not unilaterally bad. and which is just the most, it's hard to come up with that. But I really do believe that,
especially when you're dating a black girl.
And you're, right, when you're me, hey, you're a white straight dude from the South trying to defend racism. Maybe you're wrong. Like, maybe I am. But I've noticed, like, there is something about judging groups that it's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, obviously there's tons more examples of where it's bad, but there are ways that you keep yourself safe. Like, we judge. Yeah. If you walk down the street and you see some people who look like criminals and they're frowning and they're walking towards you, you're not gonna be like, oh, hey guys, what's going on?
Right.
You're gonna be like, I want to stay safe. I want to be safe. And that's why we do it. We're as comics, we all know everything is patterns. We say something, we're counting on that audience, have a preconceived notion so we can play with it.
Right.
But yet, for some reason, we're not allowed to say that it is okay in some situations because the nuance, like, it's like, where does the line sit? Like, obviously, you should never look at somebody and go, well, I know who you are and you don't get this job. Like, obviously that's wrong, but there should be some sort of where it's acceptable, or there should be some place where it's like, you can talk about it and find out where that line is. But I've noticed that it's that discussion's not allowed. And I don't get why we don't allow a lot of discussions that should be happening. Like you know what I could do if I had a lot of money, like a lot, I would start my own news network, and I would start one where I took all the craziest right-wing people and paired them with all the craziest left-wing people. It's like, why not do that? Like, why not give both sides a voice?
Yeah.
And, but both, instead of just going only my side and only this side and only this is right and only this is right, but why not just have them both so we can all be like, you're both idiots and be done.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that. Like, somebody should do that. Someone should start a network and just take Tucker Carlson and I don't know, Jake Tepper, and put them together and have them cry and yell at each other and see what happens. Because my belief is that I think I'm right about this, but you can only be racist against people you don't know. Yeah, you can't hate a group once you have experience with a single person of it. Yeah. Except for black people, you have to date one, then you can hate black people as a rule. Because I had never hated until my girlfriend. I did not hate black people, but now. It's like, you're gonna lose everything from that, man. That's worth it. My girlfriend, no, my girlfriend's amazing. I'm very happy. It's the problem is that, like, I think about this a lot. Like, I hate that she's always right. Like, I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it, and it's to the point now where, like, she knows that she's always right. So, like, even when she's not 100% sure, she trusts her opinion over mine. Yeah. And in the beginning, she trusted my opinion over hers. And so I was like, I kind of like that. I was like, all right, I'll be wrong, but we'll be wrong together. But now she's like, nah, you're wrong. You're wrong. And I'm always wrong. So, like, it's like half the time we'll get into an argument and I'll realize, shit, she's right. Yeah. But I can't stop because it's like, I would rather be wrong, but keep my pride. Yeah. And apologize later, afterwards. But like, I don't know, that's just the one thing is like, you see these old guys, like really old guys, they always, like, if you ask them in a relationship, they're always like, happy wife, happy life. Yep. And it seems like that's the only thing that they care about. And there's something about that. I don't know what it is, but I just think it's like at some point we realize we're always wrong and we just accept it. Yeah. And then we die. I don't know if that's 100% how it works, but I think that's the process. It's like you have your own opinions, you meet someone, you realize, nope, they're all wrong. And then you die. I think at some point you have kids. Yeah. But I think that's the whole thing. How are you? You have kids? You have kids, right?
No kids. I don't know, man. I'm at the age where I feel like I got to make a decision, right?
Well, right. I don't have any kids that I'm aware of. When I become famous, there's gonna be someone knocking, right? But I don't have the drive to get married and have kids. Yeah, I'm not against it. Yeah, I just don't have the drive for I don't see myself ever being with anyone else. But at the same time, I don't have the drive to get married that I think other people have, and I don't. Same here. I don't know why. Yeah, nice. Like I know growing up, my parents divorced twice. Twice. That's a lot of divorce in one family. To get back together and do it again, like they always fought, and so like.
That's funny. My girlfriend Heidi, her parents did that too.
Yeah, she mentioned that. I was like, dude, my mom, and my dad divorced acrimoniously. Wow. When I was like 4, my brother was 9. Yeah. And then they were like, you know what? We didn't screw up the younger one enough. Let's do this again. They came back when I was 9, got remarried and divorced again. Wow. Again, acrimoniously. The judge used to tell me they both fought over custody. They're like, you take him. No, you take him. No, you take him. Then they divorced twice. And what do? They got back together. And they stayed together until my dad died.
Wow.
And they fought every single day. Like, I couldn't figure that out. Like why do you guys keep getting back together? But then I'm actually trying to make this a joke, but it's great. I love this. This happened. This actually happened. My dad lost every argument ever with my mother. Every single one. And because my dad lost all of our family's money. Like we had a bunch of money, like millions.
Yeah.
And a house in Martha's Vineyard, a lot. Good money. Yeah, because he was rich.
Yeah.
And he had a dream. And in the early 80s, he wanted to open an automobile dealership. Like, that was his thing. He loves cars. He always did. He rebuilt cars. He was a car guy. And in the early 80s, there were two trends in automobiles. There were dune buggies and minivans. And my dad saw the future and invested everything, including the house in Martha's Vineyard, mortgage, everything, on a dune buggy dealership and lost everything, like every dime, lost it all. And so my mom divorced him, because that's what you do when you lose your family's money.
Yeah.
You get cut out of the family. Then they got back together. But my dad could never win an argument with my mom, because I swear to God, every time they fought, if my dad was ever making a point, my mom would go, "Dune buggies, David, dune buggies." And he'd be like, all right. Wow. And yeah, so it's like, no, he never won. Now, I tell this joke with the whole thing, and it's a involved piece, but I'll tell you the real thing that happened was that when my dad died, the night he died, my brother and my mother were there. I wasn't there. And my brother was like, goodbye, Dad, and went out and left. And my mom was there, and my dad hadn't been coherent. He was gone for like a week at that point. He was just, the body was there, but he was pretty much gone. And my mom's leaving. As she leaves, my dad spoke.
What?
He said, "I love you, Marlene."
Wow.
And those were his last words. And then he died.
Wow.
Yeah. And it sounds sweet, right? But I'm just like, dude, he meant that. He fucking totally did that to win. I just
last
know,
word?
Yeah. He was just like, I'm going to screw this woman forever. Get over this. Dude, he left, my dad left my mom cards that she found across the house when he was gone. Cause he was a very sweet man.
Wow.
Yeah. But I always like tell me, I really think it though. He was planning it like, oh, I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna drop the "I love you," and then I'm gonna top it off with a few sweet cards. She'll never get over this.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like now my mom is like, your dad was an angel. Wow. He was like, Mom, are you sure that bastard who lost our money, that's an angel? All right. So I always think about that. That's what I hope to do someday. Just my last word, just ruin someone's memory. Just like do something. Video Shauna's got a great joke about that. Like his last words, he goes like once he's like, the money's underneath the, just die. And he's like, what's the money worth?
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. Last words, don't waste them. That's.
Speaking of last words, we're gonna wrap up here. Do you have any upcoming shows or anything you want to promote?
Yes, I am starting a new podcast called the Eric Allegria Podcast, starring Matt Taylor.
Which I'm not invited on.
You're not going to be... I'm sorry, man. Like, it's a coincidence. It's not you. I just love your name, and I want to piggyback off of your success. So I figure you can't be on it. No, I'm doing everything. I'm working on one thing. I'm working on an online class, but most likely no one's going to want to learn how to do comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I like teaching.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing that. And I got shows coming up.
Cool.
But not right now. Mm-hmm. I'm in the middle of negotiating with the Comedy Chateau.
Oh, nice.
And so who knows?
Which is a comedy club
It's in North Hollywood. The Comedy Chateau is across the street from the Ha Ha Comedy Club. Yeah. By the way, the Ha Ha Comedy Club has issued a carpet ban on anybody who performs at the Chateau.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they banned it. I think
How do you know?
Because they told people that if they did my show, they were banned.
Oh man!
So what I did was when I found that out, I went and I invited Jack Jr. to do a spot on my show because I figured, hey, you want to do my show? And he was very nice. He's like,
no comic could turn down a.
But he was like, no, I can't do that. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I know. I just want to take the high road and win. But
was this recently?
Yeah, it was when I started doing those shows. Like they were. Jack Sr. was not happy that the Chateau existed. I remember because back when I used to work at the Ha Ha, I used to laugh because I told him that I was going to open a club next to him one day and call it the Ha Ha Ha. And he used to look at me and go, "I would kill you." And he wasn't kidding. I know he wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is like, I like the Ha Ha. I know people have their own opinions of that family, but they did right by each other, and I would still be working there if I could have.
Yeah.
I just couldn't make enough money, and I made a promise to them. Like I would stay exclusive with them. And then they took all my shows away. And I was like, I have to leave. But I like that. I like them. I think they're good. And the one thing they do that no one else does to promote a club that hates me, they don't care about your TV credits.
Yeah.
They're the only club in this town that's like, just be funny.
Yeah.
Just kill. Now, would it be a little bit nicer if they were different people?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But they're the only people who are you funny? We'll work with you. And that's something else. So
yeah. So tell me about the Chateau. I'm not familiar with that club.
the Chateau is owned by Felix, some sort of Mc something or other.
Yeah.
He's great. The club itself is brand new. It's gorgeous. It's nice. So far they're only doing outdoor shows. So I thought it was a joke. Like, I don't even think Felix owns this club. He just owns the parking lot because it's on the inside. But it's a nice place, man. They don't really yet quite have a grasp on how to run things because they're brand new. Like no one there has run a club before. Yeah. Which it sounds like it's like, yeah, people describe things like, it was like we're all just learning it as we go, which sounds exciting, except you know, some of these things are like you don't have to. Some of these are dumb mistakes, people. Some of you're making some stupid mistakes. But like for instance, like when the Haha issued the ban, we're like, dude, you guys should say something, do something, and they're like, well, we like them. I was like, no, that's the wrong attitude to have. You got to be competitive. I like it. It's a good place. They're gonna open it. They have 2 rooms. Inside's nice. It's a nice place, and so you know, hopefully the place will stay in business forever. Hopefully, and the Haha will also stay in business forever.
Yeah. But there's enough for everybody, right?
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but it's a lot of good comedy out there though. Oh, and my name, you know the old Haha? Yeah. My name is still on the marquee.
Is it?
For like 2 years now.
Wow.
Like I want to go buy that club just so I can take my name off the marquee. That's why, because it looks like it's an abandoned club with my name on it, which is not a good sign. Like, there's one producer, this guy who produced a bunch of TV specials for these people. He's like, hey Matt, I always wanted to produce a show at a haunted house, and he took a picture of him. I was like, come here. I was like, that's okay if you want to do it. And he's like, no. And I was like, all right, whatever. But so what about you? What are you up to these days?
You
never promote yourself.
Thanks, Matt. Well, I'm going to try to get on that podcast that has my name on it. That
the guy who books is a jerk.
Maybe I'll just do a name change to get on.
That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious if I actually did name the podcast the Eric Allegri. Actually, it wouldn't be funny. It would be the biggest dick move possible. Maybe I should call I'll call the podcast Eric Allegri Has a Better Podcast. That actually wouldn't be such of a bad name. But, But no, that's. I love what you're doing here, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And like, producing shows, you get to book who you like and who you want to be around with. And this is similar to that.
I don't book. Oh yeah. I don't book shows anymore. What are you talking about?
No, so it's cool. And, so.
Hey, you got to do one of my shows coming up.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I can't. It's so funny. Like I meet all these people who ask, this from running stuff. People ask you for spots, and then you forget who you like. The other people you go to book because the nice people, the people who are not like pushy, you don't hear them because there's so many people like, hey, can I get a spot?
No, dude, that's a good point because I tell people that all the time because when I used to book over there at the Haha or any other show, the squeaky wheel gets the spot, right?
Yeah, it's like all the things that you learn growing up don't apply in comedy in LA. Like you have to say you're good. Yeah. You have to push because otherwise, if you just lay back and you're humble, maybe. But there's 1,000 people who are just idiots who are just coming up to you like, I'm great. And you're like, well, I guess you're great. I mean, you say great.
Yeah.
I always want everyone to be great.
Yeah.
Actually, I got some great advice when Dustin Chafin, by the way, just moved to Los Angeles. He is one of the best comics on earth. He gave me my start in New York. Guy's amazing. Just an amazing comic. Smartest dude I know. And he gave me some really good advice on how to deal with people who keep coming up to you. He's like, because he was doing some shows and he's like, Matt, you got to stop letting people talk to you that much before your set. Like you're never going to get prepared. And I go, well, what do you do with people who just like keep asking for spots? Like, how do you, I don't want to say no to them because no, you get the person at the door and you make that person the co-producer of your show. And then when everyone asks you, go talk to her. She's booking things and you just deflect it. And I was like, oh yeah. Because otherwise, if you say no to somebody, they hate you forever. Right. And it's like, no one seems to accept the fact of like, hey man, there's a lot of people who want spots. I don't try to take care of everybody, but to just deflect them to somebody else and then they don't seem to get upset. So
that's a good idea.
Dustin Chafin. It's just
nice.
I understand the guys. There's one of the, I'm such a fan of his. Like, it's like, I'm so happy he's out here. Like, just
Yeah.
it's like one of those smart guys. You know, those people who just like, you're like, oh, I can't believe I know this person because they just impart wisdom. And it's like, yeah, he would probably hate that I'm saying these things about him. So forget I said it. Forget I said it. But yeah, it's like, I'll introduce you. You guys are one of the best. Awesome.
Cool. Very awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming by here, man. I know you live in Hollywood. We're here on the west side, and you drove all the way out here. I appreciate you.
And I hope you'll do my podcast
I'd love
soon.
To. Let's drink to that.
There we go.
Cheers. We didn't cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much, buddy. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon.